Have you ever sat out in the rain next to a river, tired and broken, reflecting on your own life, only to be grabbed by the long tug of a frog-horse hybrid and then dragged to your doom in a horrible, painful drowning experience that can only be the equivalent of hell itself? No? Well, you want to? Today we are talking about the Kelpie, a very interesting and unique creature that has a limited time in the Berserk story, but whom I've always wanted to see pop up a lot more than it has. In real-world history, the Kelpie comes from Scottish folklore, and they are aquatic spirits or beasts that are known throughout many of the lakes, rivers, and lochs in Scotland. The history associated with them is as deep and mysterious as Nessie herself, and I keep waiting for her to pop up in Berserk sometime. Along with Bigfoot. Hey, did you guys know that Bigfoot is actually a race of interdimensional beings that casually pass in and out of our world and leave cryptic messages for future travelers? I guess I'll save that for another video. Anyway, the Kelpie served as a superstitious tale of a creature that would drag you down into the water and drown and kill you if you got too close. And it was a cautionary tale mostly for children to keep them safe and away from the water. They were known as shapeshifters, which also allowed them to lure people towards the water, but oftentimes would take their true form, which looked like a horse with some aquatic features. Another interesting fact is that Kelpies were either all or mostly seen as males, so women were warned of any man by the water trying to convince them to come with him, which is probably why I have no luck when I'm hanging out by the river, and also probably a good word of caution in those ancient times. Still, a few stories do exist of Kelpies overcoming their primal nature and actively choosing to be good, and even remaining in their human form. It really does depend on where the story originated from and who was telling it, but the general idea is a shape-shifting being that's true form was like a horse that exists in all the stories and lore that I could find. Also, while in their horse form, they would oftentimes have a bridle, and if you removed it, that could tame or kill them. They also could be wounded or killed by silver, which is something that is carried over into Berserk, as most astral creatures in the story are vulnerable to it. In Berserk, Kelpies are introduced in Chapter 211, called Evil Horde Part 1. This is during the battle at Enoch Village, where our main cast is already battling against trolls and ogres, as well as it's the most D&D-esque portion of the entire manga, which relates heavily to these videos in general. As stated many times in these videos, in Berserk there are multiple worlds that are layered on top of each other. There is the physical, astral, and ideal worlds. The astral world harboring these creatures of fantasy, such as the Kelpie and the others that I mentioned. And from time to time, the astral world would seep into the physical. So there would be moments where a single Kelpie was released into our world, and it killed a few humans, thus causing the rumors and fear to circulate more about them, which would only create and strengthen more Kelpies in the astral world. The physical appearance of the Kelpie is just like traditional folklore, with a four-legged horse-like creature. It looks like it's a mix between a horse and a frog for the aquatic features, and it also gives an amphibian-like body, being able to be both inside and out of the water and still perform whatever it is it does. But it's still considered a water spirit and uses water elementals as its form of attack. Also in Berserk, it would appear that they only have this form and they are not shapeshifters and don't take on the appearance of a human. Instead, they are like animals themselves and react purely on instinct and an instinct to kill and eat. Particularly for Kelpies, humans are a rare delicacy, and so when the moment comes, it's all ripe for the taking. But despite being animalistic, they do display remarkable intelligence when it comes to battle. A Kelpie can control the water around them to a degree, using elementals, which are like small spirits of the various elements of the world. Think like Avatar, but the water nation looks like this ugly fuck. And they can create spheres of water to attack with, multiple ones at the same time even, and fire them like projectiles that actually do a fair amount of damage. Even though it's made of water, it's like getting hit with a large rock. Furthermore, if a Kelpie is fighting where plenty of water is around them, such as in the story fighting in the rain against the character of Serpico, a Kelpie controls the water to engulf his opponent with the intention of drowning him. So even above the water surface, on land, if there is enough water to do so, a Kelpie can still drown you. The most disturbing part is just this blank, expressionless face the Kelpie had while watching Serpico be engulfed. Just imagine the last thing you saw in life were these derpy frog eyes. Now, besides its water manipulation, Kelpies also have a rather long tongue, again frog-like, and I know how appealing a nice long tongue can be. But anyway, it can shoot out quickly and wrap around its target's leg or wherever else, and is most likely used to pull them to their death if a Kelpie was in a lake or river, but it's still effective as a weapon above ground depending on the situation. To battle a Kelpie, it wouldn't be impossible as a normal human. You would just need to be really competent with your abilities, and it would depend on the setting itself. If you're just hanging out by the lake going for a swim and a Kelpie grabs you, it's pretty much over unless you can cut yourself free right away. I would not advise fighting a Kelpie in the water as they have a massive advantage. On land, it depends. I'm sure a Kelpie probably wouldn't even wander onto land unless it was raining or really wet around the area, but even so, you would need to be able to dodge or withstand projectiles of water and make it to the Kelpie before it got you engulfed with water itself. Upon reaching the creature, I imagine it would be the equivalent of a very strong horse, so very tough, but you could still slice and kill it with a sword if you were skilled enough, or be like Serpico and just cut off its tongue and stab through its jaw. Or find a club and bash it. Basically, your biggest issue is just getting close to it to begin with, and underestimating it due to its animal-like nature. Kelpies are of course vulnerable to magic, so whether it's a spell to wash them away, or if you create a protective barrier, that should work too. Along with silver once again, which would be good to keep them at bay. The Kelpie's time in Berserk is brief, but it does come from a unique historical lore, as well as provides difficulty for our main characters in one of the best segments of the manga. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about this frog horse thing down below, and why you think it's better than the rape horse. Anyways guys, thank you for watching this video, I really do appreciate it. Please give it a like, please comment, subscribe if you're thinking about sticking around, seeing more anime and manga content. Also check out the description for the Patreon, Discord, and social media links. Until then, I'll talk to you in the next video.